This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey y'all, how are you doing today? Look, I want to show y'all something real quick that Zaya made me before I start calling y'all out. Check this out. Hold on. Let me fix it so you can see it. Hold on just a minute. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. It's so cool. Okay. I got a couple of them. I'm going to try to use them today. Hey, Paranormal and Bad Girl and Joy and Abellis and Toxic, Jenny Jen, Zio, Paranormal Rooster, hey, Solistic Glow. What are all you guys doing? Serena, hey, my lovely. Cara, hey, lovely. My throat is so sore, so I'm sorry if I sound weird. Sarah Lee, thank you guys. Joy, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hold on just a second. Use one of the potatoes, the purple ones. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I saw all of y'all and said hey. Okay, real quick, Trixie, hey, there you are, love. Okay, so let me show you guys something real quick that I saw this morning. Hold on just a second. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you guys real quick and read it to you. This is a letter that Leilani Simon, the girl that we were talking about yesterday, she wrote this letter to the news station. I got this from Alex Ericson, and I shared it on my community wall. I don't have her link to her channel real quick at the second. Sorry, I got sidetracked by the kids. But I will drop it in the description box below. But she wrote this letter to the news stations. Okay, and I wanted to read it to you real quick. It says, now this is Leilani speaking. It was September 2nd of 2024, and she says, WTOL, there is no underlined factual evidence against me, comma, none. As in none, as in no concrete without a doubt evidence. All the state has is speculation based on circumstantial evidence. Nothing, however, based in fact with undeniable proof/evidence. This is what the state doesn't have. No DNA evidence, no forensic evidence, no eyewitnesses, no unaliving weapon, no camera or video evidence, no time of death to prove I was at home during the tragedy. No cause of death, no proof of any previous abuse to Quentin or other children. I understand if you're skeptical. I understand if you're skeptical of what I just wrote, but I assure it's the truth. It's fact, and fact is underlined. I implore you to do your own investigation into my claims to confirm. The public deserves to know some of the facts of this case and not only speculation based on circumstantial evidence. I firmly believe that if the investigators weren't mainly focused on me from day one of the investigation, that they may have found the evidence they lack and therefore the actual unaliver. They, as in the state, are attempting to railroad me instead of admitting they have accused the wrong person for the past 2 years. And it's signed Leilani Simon. Sorry, I read that all kind of crazy. But do y'all believe that, like, she's still denying that she's had anything to do with the unaliving of her child? Can y'all believe that? Dawn, this is Leilani talking to the news crew. I'll read it through one more time real quick before we start our interviews. Hey, Indie Girl and Gammy, I saw you guys popped in. I was trying to see if anybody else had popped in. So let me read it a little bit better real quick. I'm going to go fast this time. So Leilani Simon is writing this to WTOL, which is the news station. She wrote it September 2nd, 2024. She wrote, "There is no factual evidence against me. None. As in, none without a doubt evidence. As in, no without a doubt evidence. All the state has is speculation based on circumstantial evidence. Nothing, however, based in fact with undeniable proof or evidence. This is what the state doesn't have. No DNA evidence, no forensic evidence, no eyewitnesses, no murder weapon, no camera or video evidence, no time of death to prove I was at home during tragedy, no cause of death, no proof of any previous abuse to Quentin or other children. I understand if you are skeptical of what I just wrote, but I assure you it's the truth. It's fact. I implore you to do your own investigation into my claims to confirm. The public deserves to know some of the facts in this case and not only speculation based in circumstantial evidence. I firmly believe that if the investigators weren't mainly focused on me from day one of the investigation, that they may have found the evidence they lack and therefore the actual murderer. They, as in the state, are attempting to railroad me instead of admitting that they have accused the wrong person for the past 2 years." Y'all, Leilani is full of poop. That is just insane to me. She still cannot admit what she did, y'all. Like, this is a letter to the daggum news station. And they were just being so kind and so sweet at her parole and talking about that and ended up giving her life with the possibility of parole. I said parole, but I meant at her sentencing. And she can't even admit what she did. She's still not taking accountability. Still hasn't taken accountability at all whatsoever. Yeah, she got life with parole. Like, I understand it's life, but she has the possibility to be paroled. It's crazy. It is absolutely insane. All right. So, I'm going to go right here real quick. We're going to be watching interviews with killers today. Tomorrow we are going to talk about a lady. There's a lady. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Let me click one of these and bring it up. I think these are both teens, and I want to see how the overlay is real quick and make sure it looks good for you guys.
For modern times, dubbed.
These are from Court TV. Okay, so let me check the overlays real quick. I think y'all will be able to see it. Let me. Hold on. Where's my thingy? Okay. I can't sit here and do this right now. Me and Zai will have to get together later and see what we can do. Let me see if there's any, like, when I move it like this real quick. Nope. All right, I'll leave it like that for now. I apologize. I'm just... No, because then you can't see the side. I might have to take it off. All right, I'm going to take this off real quick. And me and Zaya will have to get together and try to see what we can figure out later. Let me get y'all a background, and we'll get this show on the road. All right. I apologize. Okay. I'm missing my thingy. Yeah, I am. I feel like I've heard, says Kara, I feel like I've heard other YouTube commenters saying how often they had to pause and comment to avoid that. Oh yeah, I got a copyright strike. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Hopefully I won't get one today. Hey Amanda, thank you for being here. How are you doing today, love? All right. So, I don't think I will. I think we're good. This is going to be from Court TV. This is called Interview with a Unaliver, and it is the title of this one is Catfishing for Murder, Interview with a Killer, and this unaliver is named Denali Bremer. And again, it's from Court TV. There's graphic content, viewer discretion is advised.
I didn't actually think we were going to kill her. But when she started freaking out, saying she's going to go to the cops and everything else, that's when he shot her, I was just like, well, problem solved.
Wow, that sounds really
I know,
heartless.
but at the time, that's what I was thinking. Problem solved.
Problem solved. Look how young she is.
It was a murder made for modern times, dubbed the catfishing murder.
A teenager in Anchorage, Alaska, has been charged with killing her best friend.
It all began with a bizarre online catfishing scheme.
Darren Schillmiller posed as a millionaire online, offering $9 million to, quote, rape and murder someone in Alaska.
So he was a good catfisher.
He was a good
Offering $9 million to grape and unalive someone in Alaska? What? That is insane.
catfisher. I mean, there's one thing I'll give him props for. I mean, he got me, so he's a good catfisher.
A brutal crime concocted on the internet.
He got me. I mean, it don't look like that would have been that hard, not trying to be mean.
Landed one teenage girl in prison for life and another in an early grave.
It's just like the wolf needing the lambs to slaughter. That kid took that gun and shot my niece in the back of the head. And then my niece was still breathing, kicked her into the river.
You chose the victim.
Yeah, she needed payback.
Shot her in the back of the head and then kicked her into the water.
For what she did was like...
Payback with her life?
No. That's on me.
In your own words, you become a mastermind of plots to murder and sexually assault. Is that fair?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it.
Yo, I'm sorry, but if you didn't mean to do something, I don't think you would have done it. You know what I mean? So. Oh. Let me mute that music real quick. So tomorrow we're going to talk about Ellen Greenberg, I do believe is her name. So what happened with her, and I remember reading about this case, is like supposedly her husband walked in and found her and said she had unalived herself, and she had, what is it, like 20 some odd stab wounds. So evidently she stabbed herself 20 some odd times, and they ruled it a suicide. So we're going to talk about that case tomorrow. My lovelies in Discord have been getting me all the information for it today. I've got photos and autopsy stuff. It doesn't show the body, but it shows, what they said was done. It's going to be interesting. So be here tomorrow too. So this is episode 3, catfishing for unaliving, Alaska. Going all the way to
Just
Alaska.
outside Anchorage, Alaska, it's easy to find yourself awestruck by the thick forests and towering mountains that border the city's skyline. But hidden in this vast wilderness and natural beauty are the remnants of an horrific crime. A crime as unforgiving as the harsh landscape. These same trees also hide the Highland Mountain Correctional Center, and in it, the young woman who committed the crime, Denali Bremer.
I'm not going to keep pausing, but could y'all imagine being in prison in Alaska? Like, it's already sparse. There's not a lot of people, lots of land, nobody around for miles, and then you're in prison up there. Like, there really's got to be nobody around for miles.
Morning. Bremer orchestrated the murder of her friend, Cynthia Hoffman, for the promise of money from a man she met online. 5 years later, now serving a 99-year sentence,
Please always, when we watch these things, please try to remember the victims and say a prayer for their families. Yes, we are summoning Eek, OP, and Anders, if you guys hear us.
Denali Bremer says she's ready to talk about the catfishing murder.
Is this your first interview?
Yes. I want to apologize kind of like to everybody that didn't get to hear that or see that.
Get it off your chest?
Off my conscience. Even though I was heavily advised against it, not just by my lawyer, but by other people in the prison as well, I figured it was time to just say my part. You've all heard one side of the story, so it's time for mine. And I've already admitted guilt, and so I'm ready to finally fully take responsibility for what I've done, so.
Okay. I want to say so much right now. I paused right at the perfect spot, but that was a scary to see her with like the puppy dog eyes and the little, what is it called? That little filter with the pew, and then she pointed it at herself. That tells me all I need to know about the mind of this unaliver right there.
Bremer says she's not the same person she was when she carried out the murder plot in 2019, and that she's finally ready to come clean. I'm here to try to learn whether either of those claims are true, and how a teenager could be drawn into a murder plot on the internet by a man she hardly knew.
Look, that's scary.
I wasn't at the right head.
I mean, where did she get all these pews, and why does she keep pointing them at herself? Joy, I do actually have Manuka honey that I buy online, and I have been drinking honey and lemon tea. I've been taking On Guard from doTERRA. And actually my husband told me he went and got me Luden's cough drops last night. But he told me a long time ago, if you are starting to get sick and you take the supplement, it's called niacin. It's actually, like, a lot of people will take it to detox, but it detoxes you. It really does. Like, it cleans your blood. So if you take, like, you know, one twice a day, like maybe one with breakfast and then one with dinner, it'll actually make you get better and a lot quicker. So I've been doing all those things. It went away, but it came back, I think, because I forgot to take the niacin one day, and now my throat's killing me again.
Headspace at the time. It took me a lot to get to the point where I'm like finally sober and clear-headed. So I'm not blaming drugs or anything, but they did have a big impact on my judgment.
It sounds like you're kind of blaming drugs and everything.
Not everything. Like, my judgment was my own, my actions were my own.
Her story begins with violence as a little girl with a different name.
Denali Dakota Sky Bremer. Is that the name you were given at birth?
No. I was adopted around 7. My original name was Alexandria Baker.
And why? Why would they change your name?
Oh, thank you, guys.
Because of what it came with. The reason why I got taken out of my bio family's home was because of a gruesome murder that happened there. So they changed my name in hopes of giving me, like, a new start.
A new start, a new identity?
I would hope.
But Bremer's rescue into an adoptive home might have come too late to recover from the damage already done, including witnessing the murder of her infant sister by her mother's then boyfriend.
They were newborns, basically.
This is crazy. So this child's been plagued since birth almost. And they were beautiful. The girl that she unalived was beautiful as well. Jenny said, please consider hitting the thumbs up. I don't like to ask, but if you don't mind, please hit the thumbs up because it helps us get in the algorithm. Thank you.
Gabrielle won't stop crying. And Corianne, her twin sister, cried too. And to shut her up, he bashed them together and threw her against the ground. Corianne barely survived. Gabrielle unfortunately didn't. And when they found us, we were hiding in a closet covered in blood.
You were?
Oh my God.
Me and my sisters were.
How old were you at the time?
I was about 2.
By late teen years, Denali Bremer had grown into a serial delinquent.
I started doing like meth and coke and heroin.
Did you at the time own guns
Where the hell are you getting all of these rugs up in Alaska, ma'am?
legally?
No, you can't own guns legally at 17. I carry them around because I was like doing drugs. I'm dealing them, and it's a dangerous kind of lifestyle. So you should pack just in case.
So you were dealing drugs as well?
Yes, I don't lie about that. I was not just dealing drugs. I was also kind of whoring myself out for money. So when you deal with those kind of people, you also need protection too.
So you're doing drugs, you're dealing drugs, and there's sex work.
Yeah.
For money.
All of this in Alaska, like I thought Alaska was quiet with sparsely populated.
I mean, like, I got no shame in admitting that. I mean, if somebody ODs on the drugs, it's not the dealer's fault. I didn't make him take them.
At 18, Bremer says she was raped and impregnated and left traumatized. But within weeks of delivering a baby girl, she was back online selling sex and tempting fate.
Y'all, this is insane. I'm trying to. I mean, I feel sorry for her because she's very much a victim in this as well, from what I'm hearing.
And that's when you meet a man online. He calls himself Tyler.
Yeah. Well, first his name was Hayden, and then when he gave me his Snapchat, it was Tyler, which kind of raised a red flag. But then again, I've seen it multiple times. Guys don't want to give you their real name.
At one point, did he start asking you to do sexual things for money?
I mean, that's kind of like how we met, was on the dating app. Hey, I'll do this for cash. If you want to know anything more, text me. So, like, he knew right out the bat what I was up to, and so that's where I make my money. So he was sending me money for photos.
He was paying you
for photos and videos,
for photos and videos at that point.
And I mean, like, I'm not going to lie, he was paying me a lot.
And the requests get more and more perverted.
Yeah, he was like pushing more and more money towards me.
Was that not a red flag for you, that he's starting to ask for more and more perverted things?
I've had that before. I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of guys have asked for it before.
So it's not that outside of your prior experience.
When somebody says, I'm not going to lie, over and over and over again, chances are they're lying. Just to put that out there. I don't know if she is, but just wanted to let y'all know that for future reference.
Been offered.
I assume that he was not using his real picture.
No, he wasn't. Or his real credit card. You can set up a PayPal nowadays with anything. So he was using a PayPal account to pay me.
And he made some outlandish claims about his wealth, right? About all of that. And did that seem plausible to you?
Well, I mean, at first, no. But then, like, when my PayPal started blowing up with bigger and bigger sums, it started to kind of, like, maybe make sense.
He's telling you he loves you.
Yeah.
In fact, you're telling each other you're in love.
Yeah, I told him that too. But, like, I don't know. Even, like, now I'm starting to question if I really believed it. Like, I just think I just kept wanting him to get me easy money.
Of course, Tyler wasn't who he appeared to be. In fact, he was 21-year-old Darren Schillmiller living in his grandparents' basement in Indiana. But it's also becoming evident to me that Denali Bremer was no naive, unwitting victim of a bad online influence. In fact, at this stage in the interview, it's not clear to me who was the predator and who was the prey in this case of catfishing.
Yeah, stop for a second.
Yeah, I'm having that question as well. Who is the actual victim and who's the predator? Because they both seem like predators right now. Unfortunately, even though she is very much a victim as well.
This particular case, this is kind of goes both ways. You know, the typical catfishing tends to be a one-way deal. This is different in that they're playing each other. You know, and you don't see that in most situations. And so it makes it interesting from that standpoint, like, you're playing me, I'm playing you. Let's see where this goes.
Interesting. Former FBI agent Brad Garrett spent decades hunting down and interrogating some of America's most wanted. In this case, he sees two criminal minds simultaneously at work.
I think he was playing somebody that looked a lot better than he did. He's great. He's attractive. He's rich. She sees a ticket here, a ticket of money. But in addition to that, I'm also getting attention, and this guy's good looking. So it's more like what I'm getting out of this, which tends to fit more of a personality of somebody that grew up desperate, that internalized their feelings, and now it's all about control of getting what I want, no matter what the outcome might be. She's now using him, despite the fact she's getting attention and maybe attracted to him and all that stuff. But she's working him.
And he, in turn, was working her, offering her.
This is interesting, and the aspect and the questions it raises is very intriguing. Sarah said it begs the question, is oblivion really bliss or just stupidity? And that's a good point. It's a good question. Toxic said playing each other. She wanted to show that badass she really was, I bet. She wanted to show what a badass she really was, I bet. Yeah. Yep.
Her more and more money to photograph sex acts with adults and sex crimes with children. And soon, a murder.
How much money are we talking about?
$9 million.
$9 million.
Apparently.
Did it not occur to you that he was playing you?
Well, I mean, it was really hard because I did look up all the photos online. None of them came back as anything. I looked up the number. It was registered to the name he had given to me. Looked up the PayPal. It was registered to the name he was given to me.
So he was a good catfisher.
He was a good catfisher. I mean, this is one thing I'll give him props for. I mean, he got me, so he's a good catfisher.
Both predators had met their match and were about to conspire on a bar.
I'm not sure. I think she was a teen. But I'm not sure. She was a teenager or a very, very young adult because she still looks really young.
Barrack crime.
Denali, how did murder first come up?
Hold on, I'll look it up for you, bad girl.
We've had some tragedies up here, but I wouldn't live anywhere else. I'm Uncle Don. Tim, who is the father of Cynthia, is my brother. She was a very smart, bright, vibrant young lady. She loved life. She loved music. She liked shopping, just regular kid stuff. She had just graduated from high school. She worked for a local restaurant, and she was doing very well.
Cynthia Hoffman was blissfully unaware. The 18-year-old she considered her best friend had targeted her in a murder plot. Her uncle Don Hoffman says that was characteristic of her trusting nature and naivete.
She was not judgmental of people, so she was easily brought in. She met Denali Bremer, I think, at a mall, and she did consider her best friend.
Okay, so it says at February 12th, 2024, 23-year-old Denali Dakota Sky Bremer was sentenced, okay, for the unaliving of her friend Cynthia Hoffman in 2019. So if she was 23 in 2024, then in 2019 she would have been 18 or 19. So I'm assuming she was around 18 or 19 when she did this. And I mean, Lord, she's already like had a child. She's dealing rugs. She's got all the pew-pews. Like, my goodness, poor child. And her friend, Cynthia Hoffman is the name of the victim. Please say a prayer for her family tonight as well.
At one point, my niece was, I don't know how to explain it. She was just very drawn to Denali, and thought that was her friend when it wasn't her friend.
Cynthia, or Cece, was developmentally delayed, and Hoffman says she missed the red flags about Denali Bremer that were so obvious to him.
Denali was the type of person she was like a predator. She was looking for her next victim. I had met her a couple times at Tim's house, and there was something about her that wasn't right. They were all sitting in the front room, and I'd met her, and then when I met her, I just kind of turned around, and I just shook my head like, I can't believe that you're letting CC run around with these people. You just know them type of people. You knew that they were into drugs, into different things. And I told him that. And he goes, I know. He goes, but Cynthia is an adult. She has the right to choose whoever she hangs out with.
Give me my gun back. That is mine.
But Denali Bremer and her friends were very bad company.
You judging them? Pig. You're a pig.
16-year-old Caden McIntosh would become her trigger man in the murder case.
She got a 16-year-old now, too, that's in on it. Y'all, I know there's like in towns where there's not a lot to do, kids do get into things like this because there's nothing else to do. It's kind of the way people look at it, but this is crazy. And that poor girl.
Soft safety.
Caleb Leland was also in the mix, knowingly providing the vehicle used in the crime. And all the while, text messages show Darren Schillmiller, still posing online as Tyler, was tasking Bremer, who's using the alias Angel, with vicious...
Okay, hold on. Let me back it up.
And all the while, text messages show
Force her, tie her up if you have to.
Darren Schillmiller, still posing online as Tyler, was tasking Bremer.
It's cute. Do hotter videos. Hold her down and stuff. Fight her. Impress me.
Who's using the alias Angel, with vicious sex crimes involving minors.
So diaper changes or anything is the question. What?
In exchange for money.
Soon he's dictating to you how he wants you to molest children.
Yeah,
Hold
he
her
tried.
down, fight her, impress me.
Yeah, he tried that. But when I read those messages, I was mad at my friends.
But you seem to be going along with it.
Yeah, but again, like, I wasn't the one texting him during that time. My co-defendants, they were the ones texting him when he was asking for a lot of that stuff. They were like, well, we pretended to be you, and he gave us more money for, like, some of your old videos and stuff. And I was like, what?
But you don't deny that you're
I don't
in
deny
this
I finally read it.
that you're in a dialogue with him where he's asking for you to do things, criminal things, and you are participating in it, planning it, responding to him.
Toxic said she probably said she'd pay him to be the trigger man, offered him something else like rugs or Smex. Yeah, I was reading some of your comments. You guys, I appreciate y'all being here. I love to watch you guys comment, and I appreciate it. Y'all been saying some really spot on things.
Yeah, that was like right up until he, like, basically the murder. But like for about a day or two, I wasn't texting him.
Cynthia Hoffman was no match for the conniving of Bremer and her co-conspirators, especially after Bremer says they had a falling out over their ex-boyfriends.
Denali, how did murder first come up?
So, I was shooting up in the backseat of my car. I was shooting up some meth mixed with a little coke, and it only happened like a few days prior to the murder. So me and Cece had a huge fight, and she blasted all over her social media. We got this huge argument over a guy because I slept with her ex. She slept with mine.
Okay.
Not proud of it.
Y'all, I mean, I don't, Jesus, like, is there no discretion? Is there no stop? Is there no wait? I shouldn't do this. Like, Toxic is saying it's effing sick. Trixie saying, WTF am I listening to? My God, she's disgusting. Like, I mean, that meth makes you crazy and not care, but good God almighty. Like, she has no stop, no dignity.
Tit for tat, okay.
No limit.
And well, Tyler, Darren, found out and, kind of played it on my emotions, and my jealousy hit me again. And I'm not gonna lie, I got petty and I was mad.
So who first brought up the prospect of murder? Was it you or was it him?
Darren. Darren's the one that first came up with it.
Eventually, he offers you $9 million to commit and photograph a murder.
He had already
Amanda said that sounds like she's proud of it, and she does.
offered that. And I was like, okay, this. But my friend was like, no, it's real. Look, it says in transaction. I'm like, what? And I looked and I was like, oh. So I didn't know what to think.
Did you really think it was possible to send $9 million on PayPal?
Well, I mean, not on PayPal, but if you know how to do wire transfers, then yeah, I could work on a wire transfer.
You chose the victim?
Yeah, it was a group thing too, but initially when we all came up with it, I agreed and said yeah. Because I was mad at her and she was mad at me and I was just over her. And I wanted to make amends. I did want to make amends, but she needed payback for what she did with Zach.
Payback with her life?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah.
You chose the place?
Yeah.
Why there?
I guess place of opportunity.
Thunderbird Falls is a 200-foot waterfall that cuts through a rich birch forest just outside Anchorage. Bremer and McIntosh would lead Cynthia to an isolated spot in the woods overlooking the creek.
There had been a lot of premeditation and planning, right?
Yeah, there had been. And I was the only one with a gun, so I brought my Caltech 9mm with me.
Tell me, what was the plan?
It was just originally...
Kara said, if you're remorseful, I feel like you're not going to talk like this. She keeps smirking and smiling. She's getting excited talking about the murder plot. Yeah. Yep. I bet she's a bully in prison and controls others. Me too. I think so too. She's over the age of 18, so she might not be bullying people, but she probably is not fun to be around. Yeah.
Originally just to kill her. I don't know, like, they didn't plan anything out, like how they were going to do it or whatever. So it was...
What do you mean they? Because you're at the center of it.
Not really at the center, but yeah, well, we all, I guess, were trying to figure it out. But I thought they were kidding.
Were you kidding?
No.
You were serious?
No.
You were kidding or you were serious? Which one is?
Somewhere in between. I wanted to pay for what she did, but I didn't want to kill her. I just wanted to, I guess, leave a lasting impression on her.
Okay, but by then you had agreed to kill her.
Kill her, yeah, because I thought...
For money.
Yeah.
Right? To take her to Thunderbird Falls, to bound her with duct
actually,
tape?
that just... Caden came up with that suggestion while we were there. He had brought duct tape.
Okay.
I didn't even know he had it on him.
Okay, but
He
you
had
were...
big pockets.
Maybe you weren't responsible.
He had big pockets and she's laughing. Bad Girl says you can tell she doesn't have real remorse. Kara says she's talking about it because she wants to rehash and relive the thrill of the unaliving. Yep. Yeah, keep her locked up, says Abellis. Trixie says, "Oh, Bish, you left a lasting impression, all right, no doubt." She does, Kara. She does, absolutely. Kara said she wants the attention for, quote, giving her side. She does. Her state of mind at such a young age is what intrigues me. Like, why is she so, it seems like, yeah, she wanted attention, but again, there's no limit. Like, she's a no limit soldier for real. Like, why do you not have any limits? Okay, this may be too far. How, again, $9 million. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. There's no stop or hold or limit, and at such a young age.
Responsible for the duct tape, but you were part and parcel of this whole conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
You're not denying that, right?
No, I knew about it the day of, and what we were doing.
You say you knew about it, but you not just knew about it.
Yeah,
you created the plan.
Well, I didn't create any plan. There was no plan.
Okay, June 2nd, 2019. In as much detail as you can recall, tell me what happened that night. You told Cynthia you were going to go on a hike, right?
Well, I said in the message we were going to go on a hike, but when
that message said want to go on a hike.
Code is we're going to go get high and smoke some pot or
but in fact,
shoot up. And
in fact, you had a plot to murder her that day, right?
I don't know how. I didn't even know how we were going to do it.
You walk into I've seen the place.
That's another good point to bring up, Toxic, the nurture versus nature study. So was she just born this way, or was she made this way by seeing her mother's boyfriend unalive her two twin sisters at a young age? I think one of them lived, but
It's a beautiful place. You walk into the trail. You're carrying a gun?
Yeah, it was.
Sarah brings up early drug use affects the brain development. No good excuse, though. Yeah, it does.
On my hip holster. It was, I'm not denying it was mine. It's just I'm not the one that pulled it. I'm not the one that shot her. I'm not the one that actually went through with everything. I'm just the one that had the means to do it.
Bremer and McIntosh walked Cynthia down to the creek and bound and gagged her with duct tape. They are the only two people alive who know exactly what happened next.
And then she started freaking out, and that's when she said she's going to go to the cops. She's going to do this. She's gonna report us. She's gonna like get him in trouble, get us in trouble. And that's when we both panicked. And I was like, I can't get arrested. I got a bunch of dope in my car. So like, I didn't want to go to jail for drug charges or kidnapping and assault because she had rip marks from the tape. So she's gonna get us for assault and kidnapping. And I was like, okay, well. And that's when he grabbed some gun out my holster, and then he just walked right up to her and shot her back in the head. I've never seen a man go so calm. Just walk up behind somebody and shoot them in the back of the head.
Bang.
She's
Right?
smiling. She's smiling. Y'all. Hold on. Watch that again. Y'all were saying, this is where okay, hold on. Sometimes, Kara said, sometimes I believe it's a combination of both nature and nurture. Abella said psychopaths are born if she's diagnosed as one. Bad Girl said, who would fall for something so stupid? 9 million, really? Abellis agrees with Kara. Dawn says, Abellis, I think supply side capitalism creates them. Okay. Look, watch her face when he says bang. Watch. She closes her eyes, relives the moment, and smiles. She is picturing it in her head. Watch.
A gun out my holster, and then he just walked right up to her and shot her back in the head. I've never seen a man go so calm. Just walk up behind somebody and shoot them in the back of the head.
Bang.
She is reliving that shit.
One shot?
One shot.
Did you see her relive that shit and smile? Y'all. Oh my God. Bad Girl says, rather go to prison for murder than rugs. Oh my God. Amanda says, so you will just go to prison for unaliving someone instead. Right. Exactly. I don't think the victim threatened to tell anyone. I don't either. Yeah, I know. She can't help that part. Solistic and Bad Girl. Indy, it is creepy.
Shot. What was it?
Back of the head, execution style. You watched her struggle, right?
Yeah, we did. I did. He did. We did.
Lots of chances to change your mind. She reached for her phone to call help.
No, she never had her phone. Kaden took it.
You reached for the 9mm.
I did at first, but then I stopped myself. And I was like, this is stupid. But I didn't actually do anything because she hasn't been threatening us yet. She just went over by the river, and then she started threatening us and yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs.
And you thought that the way to control the damage was to go through with the plan and murder her?
Well, I just went along with it because problem solved, right? And
wow, that sounds really
I know
heartless.
it sounds heartless, but not now. Like now, I'm just like, that was super up and shouldn't have done it. But at the time, that's what I was thinking. Problem solved.
Did you watch him point it at her head?
Yeah.
What were you doing when he aimed the gun at the back of her head?
Staring. I didn't say anything. I guess I watched.
Staring and smiling. They're dumb. They think they'd get away with it. Talk about chills. Toxic says, talk about chills. Watching that part, she's a piece of evil work. That's for sure. She was the means. She put them up to it, I bet. Yeah. Hey, Lindsay. A special girl needs threatening y'all. Right. Yeah, exactly, Lindsay. She is heartless. She really is. Hey, Pinto. I didn't see you, love. Yep. She's trying to separate herself from the incident so she doesn't look as culpable. Dawn said, wait, though. That's exactly what all of the people think Stefan killed Maddie because she was pregnant. Same story. Murder to not go for grape. Come on, right? She did enjoy watching. She did. Absolutely.
Watched.
You didn't try and stop him?
Well, no. There wasn't time to. I didn't scream, though.
Did you watch him push her into the river? Did you see her twitching after the gunshot?
I didn't want to look, but she wasn't moving at all.
Did it occur to you at that point that you had just gone from troubled teen to teenage murderer?
When we were in the car coming back, yeah. Not at that exact moment in time, no. In that exact moment of time, my only thought was, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Leave.
Was there indication that Miss Bremer had talked about killing Cece?
Yes.
In fact, during the messages, didn't she actually at some point say, I literally killed for you?
Yes, she did.
I'm not an accomplice to murder. I'm a victim too.
Denali Bremer makes her getaway and takes to social media to craft her defense.
I didn't do. He took my gun from me. He already threatened me a lot, and I don't want to die before I can testify against the mother who killed my friend.
No accountability.
At age 18, Denali Bremer conspired to walk her friend deep into the woods and murder her in exchange for $9 million.
So she was 18. Pinto said, good to see you, such a lovely group of people. I love our speculating family members here. Y'all are amazing. Y'all make my channel great. I look forward to talking to y'all every day. Solistic says, never take a trip with people you have had problems with in the past, no matter how long or how little of a fight, right? Lindsay Hendricks says that she is Jim Pop. I just know she tries to be top dog in there. Laugh out loud. She probably is. She's I mean, she was 18 when it happened, so I would assume she's in general population. Yeah. Self-preservation, says Indian Girl. Bet she never got paid. Solistic, no, I don't think she got paid. She needs to stay in prison. Yeah, she does. She's got the mind of a sociopath, in my opinion.
Offered by a man she only knew online as Tyler. For the first time, she's speaking publicly about the crime and the cover-up.
When I turned back around, she was in the river and his hands were covered in bright red blood. And then he grabs my hand and we take off and we go to this path. We go around and make our way back to the car.
I'm not trying to, I'm just thinking, I bet they made love or something too. I'm not trying to like go there, but the way she's smiling, talking about holding hands and running off together, I think that happened.
You're just making your getaway.
In a way, yeah. We're leaving. And I'm still surprised nobody heard the gunshot.
You're fleeing the scene of the crime.
Yeah, we're fleeing the scene of the crime. And so I get to the car and I get into the driver's side.
Are you crying? Are you screaming? Are you...
I wasn't doing anything at that point. I didn't know really what to do. And I get these Clorox wipes out and he wipes his hands off and stuff. And I wipe mine because he'd gotten it on me.
Blood on your hands.
Yeah. He ditches her cell phone there. He burns it, actually. And he was about to burn mine, but I'm like, don't ruin my phone. He was like, okay.
That's what you were thinking?
Well, because, like, I didn't know what else to say. Like, because he was going to burn my phone right then in the parking lot. And
I mean, I think that when you shot your well-known acquaintance, you don't have to worry about getting rid of the phones. Lindsay says, oh, yeah, is this that case with someone essentially catfishing her to unalive, right? Didn't they have to send pictures or something? Or perhaps I'm mixing up another case, unfortunately. No, I think the guy sent her pictures, and he sent her pictures of like what was supposed to be $9 million he was going to send her for doing it. But of course, that's not legitimate.
Right, but how do you even have the presence of mind to worry about your phone when you just killed and dumped your friend in the river?
Well, I didn't really have a presence of mind. I'm just thinking moment to moment, like, I need to drive here. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to not focus on what just happened.
And then you went home and you told your biological mother what you did.
I told him we needed an alibi. Look, so for all of you who are asking what really happened, I did not shoot her.
In the days that followed, Bremer posted a series of deranged messages denying her guilt in the crime.
I didn't do. Honestly, I was held at gunpoint and told to do whatever he says and I'll live.
And even claiming to be a victim of it.
So I just heard that evidently Caden Brian McIntosh, the guy that shot my best friend in front of me and all y'all haters saying that I was involved in it, just got out on bail. I'm actually kind of scared. Because
I have guns.
I know you have guns, Mom, but still. And I don't want to die before I can testify against the mother who killed my friend. All y'all saying that I'm fake and that I had something to do with it and that I used her and that he was my boyfriend, that I'm dating somebody else.
At some point, did Miss Bremer come over to your house with another individual and disclose some information to you?
Yes, she did. I was told that they had gone out to Thunderbird Falls with the friend of theirs, a young lady by the name of Cece, and that Caden had shot Cece in the head and pushed her body into the Whitney River.
Instead of giving her daughter an alibi, Bremer's mother called police.
So you eventually called police?
I called them the following day.
And what was the reason that you kind of waited until the next day to call them?
I honestly thought they were screwing with me. I thought it was all either a joke or some kind of test to see how loyal I was to her as my daughter. The following day, I saw the news report and I knew that I couldn't in good conscience.
Why is she saying a test to see how loyal I was to her as my daughter? Like, that tells you again who's controlling the relationship, because for her to say that, that's happened before. So evidently the daughter's giving mom tests on how loyal you are to me. Again, who has control in the relationship, the mother or the child? Because that sounds like the child is controlling the relationship. And that again gives me insight to her state of mind.
Not come forward with the information that I had.
Bremer was quickly arrested. Then a police investigation revealed that Bremer was the plot's mastermind and ordered Caden McIntosh to pull the trigger. Now, 5 years later, the young woman who told me she's ready to take responsibility is changing her story again and pointing the blame elsewhere.
You told the police that it was your gun.
It was my gun.
Right?
I don't
and
deny
you
it was
ordered,
my gun. I didn't order him.
You ordered the execution of
No.
Cynthia.
No, I did not order him to do anything. We panicked.
You didn't give him the gun and tell him to shoot her?
No.
Why'd you tell the police
told
that?
them that because I was trying to protect Caden at first.
Reading the record,
didn't know
it
what to
sounds like
think.
the opposite, because at first you were pointing the finger at him.
Y'all are asking a lot of questions. Lindsay, she's in Alaska. Trixie says even those videos, she wasn't upset at the death just being accused. I can't believe she fell for this. She didn't care. She just wanted to do it, says Dawn, excuse me. Okay. So Kara said, was her father in the picture? If she was able to get her mother to listen to her, then I wonder how the father treated her mother and if she mimicked her father. And somebody asked, oh, Bad Girl said, was she not raised by her mother? She was raised by her mother. The father wasn't in the picture because remember in the beginning it said the mother's boyfriend is the one who basically slammed the two infant twins together to the point that one of them died. But she stated her and a sibling were in the closet covered in blood and she was 2 years old. So I don't understand how they got covered in blood, but that was her story for that. Also, somebody asked how there was blood at the scene of the crime that they did. And my assumption for that would be the close proximity to the gunshot wound, like holding the gun up to the girl very closely would have caused a lot of blood. I apologize for the, gruesomeness of that, but I'm just trying to answer some of y'all's questions and lay out the facts, or what I believe to be the facts. Gammy says she's proud. She knows she will never get out, so she's keeping up her bad girl persona. Yeah. She's both victim and predator, and that's not something I've seen very often.
Well, he did shoot her.
And then you admitted that you ordered him to do it because you could not pull the trigger.
No, I never ordered him to do it.
It sounds like you're now, after confessing to the police that you ordered him to shoot her, that you were the mastermind. It sounds like you're now backtracking and pointing the finger at others to reduce your culpability. That's what it sounds like.
I'm not trying to fully do that. I'm just saying what really happened now. Even in the interview room, when I listen to my interview, you have this guy leading me just yes, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. And, gave, and I was like, I guess I did. Yeah, I did.
You're claiming now that this was a false confession, coerced confession?
Per certain details, yeah.
Well, how about that? That's not a detail. That is the definition of first-degree murder. You premeditated, planned the event.
Well, we did premeditate
and then
plan it.
And then ordered the execution of Cynthia Hoffman.
So we did premeditate it. We did talk about it, and I guess we planned it in stupid ways, but I never ordered him to shoot her. That's the one thing that they and I myself got wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. In my own head, the way I see it is I didn't actually pull the trigger. I was just the catalyst.
Not a tear in her eye when she said that. She doesn't look sad. She looks almost proud to be infamous.
I was the thing that.
Do you think that
started the
makes you
whole
any
thing.
less a murderer?
No, it doesn't make me any less a murderer. It just is something on my conscience that I didn't actually be the one to kill somebody. So, like, I haven't physically taken a human life. I was just the catalyst of taking one, and that is my burden to bear because she's dead because of me. That's my responsibility. That's on me.
You're saying you're taking responsibility,
Because
but you're also saying that
I'm not the one that shot her. I don't know. There's just something like that always gets me when people be like, well, you shot somebody. Well, no, I didn't. Everybody always tries to come up and say that, but I didn't actually shoot her.
you did murder her, though.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
I don't know. I guess there's just like a big difference for the physical part of actually doing it to somebody than being the one to make it happen. I don't know.
Lesser time in prison is what it boils down to.
There's just, for me, there's a difference between actually shooting somebody and being that, like, willing to do it. Because, like, I wasn't willing to do it, but he was.
And you know that you yourself was willing to murder somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Denali, of course there's sympathy for a troubled teenage girl who
Sympathy for the devil?
suffers the kind of abuse that you did. But your crimes are so brutal, so depraved and premeditated that there's nothing that really explains, let alone excuses them. You agree with that?
Yeah.
You do. There's no excuse. There's no explanation even.
No, not really.
This is not a crime where, you know, like a lot of serious youth crime done on impulse. Yours was premeditated and planned and conniving. And
Lindsay said, I'm impressed by the interviewer. Never seen him before, but I appreciate his approach to this. He's not giving her an inch to wiggle, just enough to have her show her true self. He is really good. He does this series where he talks to killers, and he's really good at what he does. He's from Court TV. Kara said, I'm going to do a Fiona Apple quote. She fondled the trigger and then blamed the gun. Yep. Or Charles Manson, see how it worked out for him. This is one person who has no business ever being let out into society ever. Right?
again, the sheer brutality of it, it looks less like a terrible mistake and more like your true character.
I can tell you right now that is not my true character.
Was it then?
Pushed to that point, it used to be. That's like definitely the worst I've ever been. My lowest point, that's my monstrous side.
Your monstrous side. You've done a fair amount of finger pointing towards other people away from yourself in our conversation. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I do.
It kind of contradicts the idea that you are fully taking responsibility. You're parsing, for example, whether or not you are the same kind of murderer that McIntosh is. Because
Jenny says she wouldn't have taken her firearm if she wasn't willing to unalive her friend. And I agree with that. If we say that she might have had it because of the rugs she was toting around and selling, I mean, I guess that's a possibility. But I'm with you. I believe she wouldn't have had it there if she wasn't planning on doing it. I think so.
Because he pulled the trigger and you didn't. You're pointing the fingers at others who may have, you say, texted Tyler, as you. You're denying the child porn charges. You're denying making your younger sibling a victim of that. You're doing a lot of not taking responsibility.
It's just like the media got a lot wrong. The cops got a lot wrong. My co-defendants and I did a lot wrong. We all did something really up. And I take responsibility for my part 100%. It's just I'm not willing to take responsibility for theirs.
I think
she's still getting joy out of what she did, which tells me, it's signs of a sociopath. Dawn said her pew, I think, was her way to hang out with others. She is the one that had one. I'm sure she carried it everywhere. Could be the moose protection. Those things are huge and mean if they think you're a threat. It could be. I don't know nothing about Alaska. I wish I lived in Alaska. Boy, I'd be happy as a pig in poop.
I think for Denali, This interview is all over the place. I think it is to get some things off her chest. But in her mind, she wants to convince us, like she apparently has done quite well in the judicial system, of convincing people of vote for me. And, some of that's true. Obviously, she's had a troubled life. But she now is using this diminishment to sort of paint her in a better light. It's almost like I'm in the back row of that. I'm not in the front row. And maybe Caden pulled the gun from her. Maybe he didn't. But the point being, if we go with her scenario, but she didn't do anything to stop it. She could have said, Caden, give me that gun, or physically try to stop it. And it's really telling that she really was okay at that moment with it happening.
Right.
Exactly. Dawn said, but if that was the case, wouldn't others have pew-pews too? Maybe their parents wouldn't have let them. Like, her mom seems pretty like she wasn't a mom. She was a child in the relationship from what I just saw. And then y'all were talking about mooses rutting when they're in rutting season are dangerous. I bet. There's no moose around here, but they're all bears.
Bremer may be trying to take a back seat now, but there's substantial evidence she was in the driver's seat when the plot was carried out.
Imagine
even
that.
providing proof of the crime to her catfishing partner.
At what point did you send pictures to Tyler of Cynthia Hoffman in the process of this plot?
Was it going to do it? It didn't pull the trigger, but was still going to get paid for it. Okay.
There was a video that we had taken, and then I guess there was a photo of her bound.
I guess. See, again,
When Denali Bremer agreed to
trying to distance herself. I get using words like, I guess there was a photo of her bound. There's a photo of her bound. You took the picture. Again, trying to distance herself.
accept the promise of millions from a man she met online to murder her teenage friend, the deal was predicated on photographic proof, and Bremer delivered.
At what point did you send pictures to Tyler of Cynthia Hoffman in the process of this plot?
There was a video that we had taken, and then I guess there was a photo of her bound.
And when did you send those?
They had already been sent, like, right after I took them, right after he took them, right after.
So after the murder?
No. This was, like, right when.
Before the murder?
Yeah, this was when we were still down there.
So as you were torturing her?
Right. She was never really tortured.
Well,
she was
by duct taping somebody against their will.
She was willing. Like, he suggested
Until she wasn't, right?
Until she wasn't.
Ultimately, Bremer received no payment from her catfishing accomplice, Darren Schillmiller, who was also sentenced to 99 years by the state of Alaska.
So, Lindsay, there's your answer to that. He was sentenced to 99 years. Bad Girl says, rest easy, Cynthia. I would have been your friend. Hope you find peace now. Yep. I do want to remember her in all of this. Abella says, willing, WTF. Yep.
Schillmiller and Bremer are also serving simultaneous 30-year federal sentences for child pornography. But
Lindsay said, and I say that's why she didn't want her phone to be burned, shaking my damn head. Yep.
none of that has deterred Bremer from appealing to the state of Alaska to reduce her sentence.
Doesn't justice require that you spend the rest of your life behind bars?
People would say that yes, it demands it, and I don't see myself getting out anytime soon.
But you are working on an appeal to reduce your sentence.
I am working on the appeal, yes, to reduce the state sentence.
What does that say about you?
So,
on one hand, you say you've taken full responsibility.
I have, but, well, I mean, I'm already spending the rest of my life in here, but 99, I mean, you can give me 80, and I'll still be serving the rest of my life in prison, you know.
So then why do the appeal?
Oh, it doesn't, I mean, the number is just kind of like what hits hard.
You think you deserve to get out of prison? You think you deserve another chance after what you've done?
No, absolutely not.
I think everybody deserves a second chance if they're truly ready for it. And I know.
Okay, but you had a second chance, ma'am. Your name was changed after this horrific thing happened to you when you were a child. Okay. That was your second chance. Then you chose to start running around selling rugs, which you could have stopped. That was another chance. Then you had the pew-pews, which you also could have turned your life around at that point and stopped. There's another chance. You had time when you threatened to take your friend on a hike. You went all the way out there. You drove out there or walked out there or however you got out there. There was so many chances in every millisecond it took you to get from point A to point B where it actually happened. And I mean, no, so many chances to stop. This girl's been given nothing but chances.
I know by that time I'll be ready. Not now. I'm not asking to get out tomorrow. I mean, 30 years is a lot to work on myself, 40 years, 50 years. And if by that time I'm finally ready to try again, I can try again.
Your letter to the judge, sentencing, contains, it seems like, some honest truths, but also a lot of platitudes, like you're just saying what you're supposed to say.
Exactly. Lindsay asked what happened to her when she was a child. Her mother's boyfriend, her mother had 2 twin infants and they were crying, and the mother's boyfriend wanted them to stop crying. So she said he took and like smashed them together, and one of them died and the other one almost died. But somehow she was covered in blood in the closet in that situation. I don't know how that happened, but evidently that's what happened. And they changed her name to give her a new start. She is a sociopath, in my opinion. Allegedly speculating.
No, I came up with that myself because I am committed to change. I'm committed to bettering myself. I'm trying every day to just do one good thing.
Yes, Lindsay, the same.
She seems to know what to say. For example, she writes the judge, it's full of platitudes that you would want to hear. Is that a thing that people who are criminally minded know often what they're supposed to say?
Well, of course, but everyone tries to paint themselves in a better light. Take it away from crime, and we all in resumes, and we will paint ourselves in the rosiest light. It's no different here. And obviously, one of the things that helps you in criminal cases is when you admit responsibility. If you say to them, I didn't do this, and I'm not taking responsibility for anything, you've now added onto your sentence, probably. So I'm sure most lawyers will counsel their clients to go that route. Some won't. She clearly has decided that that was the route to go.
Bremer's plea for leniency contained references to her troubled childhood and the phrase, hurt people, hurt people.
There's truth to the phrase, hurt people, hurt people.
Yes.
But you must know that most hurt people don't do anything approaching the vicious crimes you committed.
No.
Right? I think your sister said it best. We all had really hard lives. And I feel like she took the wrong road with the wrong people, and now she's paying the ultimate cost.
Wait, what sister?
Brenna?
Brenna said that?
Yes.
Like, I don't really know my sisters. I don't know Brenna, Rebecca,
But
or
the point
Corey
is that even your own siblings who went through a lot of the early trauma that you did, right? Even the
siblings that saw the same thing didn't do what she did.
Their verdict on you is that you chose this. You chose bad. I don't believe you were born bad, do you?
No man is born evil.
So you chose bad.
Yeah, it's a choice.
How do you account for that, Denali?
Guilty.
It was the next day, which was June 3rd, and my brother had called me. He goes, look, Cece hasn't showed up all night. I ain't gonna be able to get a hold of her. Something's going on.
Cynthia Hoffman's Uncle Don and her father woke up to her absence the day after the murder, suspecting that something had gone terribly wrong.
He had a thing where you check in. You had to check in. You had to check in every 2 hours, no matter what. Text, call, whatever. And if Dad calls, you better have your butt home.
I don't think that she can feel guilt either. I think that's a problem that she has. I don't think she feels guilt, compassion, remorse, sympathy, none of it. I don't think she does.
Living at his house, it's his rules. He was getting texts from her, but he was calling her at the same time, and she wasn't picking up the phone. He knew it wasn't her.
The Hoffman family lost Cynthia forever. Do you remember her heartbroken father's public appearances?
I tried not to really focus on what he would say because, again, like 5 years ago, I'm not the same person I am today. So 5 years ago when he first was doing that, I was mad and I was angry and I wasn't sympathetic. Then 2 years.
And I don't think that you're sympathetic now. How could you not be sympathetic to the father that lost his child that at your hands?
I went through a really big change, and that led to the person that's sitting across from you today. I went and did this treatment program, and when the speaker spoke, he connected to something I haven't felt in a long time, something I buried really deep, this feeling of empathy. Now it sounds monstrous now, but 2 years ago, I finally connected with empathy on a much deeper and more intimate level than I ever have in my life. And I felt it.
Simply by him saying, how would you feel if it was you?
Yeah.
That's all it took?
When he asked that final question, everything just kind of clicked. And what if it was you? That's when it finally hit me. When he asked it, everything just fell into place for me.
You were 22 at the time. And before that, it never crossed your mind?
Well, I mean, it didn't not cross my mind. It never really
landed.
Fully clicked. Yeah, that's when I was like, I need to make this right. I need to do something to make this right.
Somebody had to do was ask, what if this happened to you? And that made it click. Like, I don't get that. What did you not think while you were doing this could be me? What I'm doing, it could have been me. It could have been my child, because she gave birth, from what I understand, at a young age while she was a teenager too. Like, none of those thoughts crossed your mind. Oh, maybe it's because what Kara said, she's a sociopath. She doesn't have the capability of love, remorse, etc. Her demeanor in this interview reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer's old interviews. Yeah. She's a sociopath. No remorse, emotions, etc. is genetic and can be worsened by their environment. That's what Abella said. Sarah said, I'm not sure empathy is something you can learn. You can lose it, but I'm unsure you can learn it later in life. Could be wrong. Yep. I have watched Dahmer's interviews. We actually went over one, Kara, I think last weekend.
I think Denali feels that she's got insight and maybe feels better about herself, not the crime itself. But, you know, the key with any of these situations, and I don't know if she'll experience this, will she be a different person when she gets out of prison? Because I've had so many parolees I've sent back to prison because they were model inmates who went to therapy, had a great job, security guards loved them, and then they get out and they go right back into the life that they had 5, 10, 15 years before. It's hard to break the record of who you are.
Cynthia's mother, we're told, didn't leave the house for 1.5 years. She was so bereaved. And you know, her father was later killed in a motorcycle accident on a memorial ride in tribute to his dead daughter, who he took from him.
Oh my God. The dad was riding his motorcycle at a memorial for the daughter that died and was killed himself. Jesus. That is so sad. That poor mama at home all alone now. Lord, heaven help her. Please say a prayer for her today. Abella said we should look at the comparison between sociopathy and psychopathy. And I think that would be a good thing for us to break down one day. Yeah, this poor mother. My God.
Wouldn't have happened but for your crimes.
Yeah, and the mother.
And he just stated none of that would have happened if you hadn't committed those crimes. So now she's taking the father as well.
There's in critical condition in the hospital. And I know, like, the family, I'm the least and last person they want to hear that.
Oh my God, I think she just said that the mother's in critical condition. Hold on, let me rewind it and let it play.
Killed in a motorcycle accident on a memorial ride in tribute to his dead daughter, who you took from him. That wouldn't have happened but for your crimes.
Yeah, and the mother's in critical condition in the hospital. And I know, like, the family, I'm the least and last person they want to hear this from, but I really hope she pulls through and that she survives and is going to be okay.
Your own family has to walk around with this forever, including your sisters, right?
My sisters, my brothers.
All of those people
My
got
parents.
life sentences. Do you not think that you got what you deserved? 99 years from the state, 30 years from the federal government?
I just want to be able to be given a second chance eventually to try to make it up to the community outside of here. And as this is like my first interview ever, I think I'm handling it. Okay, my lawyer told me not to do this, but I'm gonna try to do better.
Bremer is
She is not. She is not. I hope the mother pulls through too, but if the mother is giving up and she's just ready to be with her family, I hope that she can let go peacefully. Sarah said, I think I've heard sociopath and psychopath aren't much different via Dr. John Mathis. Kara says that I wonder if you could find another YouTuber who's a psychologist. Oh, and you can interview them and break down the difference. I don't know that anybody would want to talk to me because, you know, I'm just a little YouTuber over here. But if I could find somebody that wanted to talk to me, I would. I said all because Basil just come over here and laid down right beside me. He plopped down on his side right beside me because he's trying to stay warm. All right. So we're going to watch the end of this and watch another one.
is now serving her sentence at a facility with a reputation for soft time, nicknamed Camp Cupcake, and she says she's trying to use the time well.
Well, thank you for your time.
Will I get lunch?
She seemed pleased with her first ever interview, but she couldn't account for.
She really just said, will I get lunch? Are you kidding me? Yeah, she got state and federal charges. I was wondering how that happened myself.
All the damage she has done. Damage that has only gotten worse for the Hoffman family since Denali Bremer murdered Cynthia.
And that's why she never deserves to get out. She better not get no appeal. And she better watch her back in there because CC had a lot of friends. One of them might end up in there. As much as you guide your children, there's a lot of unsavory people in this world. We see the end result. My niece is not here no more. She's dead. Shot in the back of the head for what? When she was led there, she went up there willingly, thinking this is all a game. We're just going on a hike. They saw that she has special needs, and they could easily manipulate her into trusting them. And they all knew they were going to kill my niece. It's just like the wolf needing the lamb to slaughter. I think she has no conscience. I think she's evil. And she murdered my niece without a blinking eye. And if she could have got away with it, she would have.
Y'all, that is sad. Please remember Cynthia tonight in your prayers. We got another one to watch today. Bellis, it would be nice if somebody would talk to me. I'll have to see what I can do. Because I would love to talk to a psychologist on here and break down those types of things.
I felt my face.
She really did just ask for lunch. Yes, that was ridiculous. Okay, so this one is another Court TV interview with a killer, and it's called Teenage Rage, interview with a killer, Tyler Hadley. It was so senseless. It really was. And the uncle and the mother who was in critical condition at the time that was filmed. Say prayers for all of those people, please. Viewer discretion advised.
I felt my face contracting this way in a maniacal rage.
What's in your mind at that point?
The same thing that was already in my mind. Do it.
Do it?
Yeah.
It was a shocking case of teenage rage.
It's a story making national headlines.
Mom was killed first, then dad.
This picture of Tyler Hadley taken at a party hours after he allegedly beat his mom and dad to death with a hammer.
A 17-year-old who killed his parents with a hammer and then hosted a raging house party.
I saw bloody sheets piled everywhere. I saw broken pictures with blood on them.
He's like, look. So I looked, there's a date there. I'm like, I'm out of here.
The crime stunned parents across the country.
Oh my God, y'all. He unalived them and then threw a party with their bodies right there. This man, and the way he was just referencing that maniacal smile that he got on his face, it already seems to me like there's some kind of maybe like schizophrenia or something like that going on in this. Just, thinking out loud from what I've heard so far. Oh yeah, I'll look and see what I can find, you guys. That would be cool. I would love to interview somebody that could break those things down. You heard this one? I haven't heard it yet. I couldn't bump into my mom or dad without feeling bad, right? Like, I still feel bad for getting in an argument with my mom when I was a teenager and wanting to leave, and she didn't want me to leave because she knew I was about to be going do some bad stuff. So she was like, no. And we got in an argument. I still feel bad for that. An argument, y'all. Like, these kids are, good Lord.
And it all started when a dangerous idea occupied the adolescent mind of Tyler Hadley.
Your mom took 36, 37 blows.
Yeah, I guess so. I remember my dad running out.
You hit him. He asked, why are you doing this?
And I said, why not? And then I said, well, there's blood all over the place. And I laughed at myself in the mirror. And I went about my business of just having a party.
That was right after he had done it. Y'all. I'm wondering if this man had gotten some mental health, if this might not have happened. Dr. Barry, Lindsay says Dr. Barry would likely be willing. She's a psychologist, but she works with a lot of other creators and really uses her platform to teach and inform others. I'll have to see what I can find out on this Dr. Barry person. Basil is laying on me, and I don't want to get up because he's like laying against my side trying to stay warm, but I've got to go get something for my throat. I don't know what to do. Oh, Abellis, your dad would have been 96 years old today. Well, happy birthday in heaven. My dad's in heaven too, unfortunately, and I miss him all the time. Dr. Barry is great. AS, yes, she's terrific. Okay. So this is episode 5, Teenage.
All across America, parents try to make sense of their kids. We take pride in them.
It just showed that this was in Florida.
We worry about them. And in their teenage years, things happen that make us ask ourselves, what could they possibly be thinking? Today, I'm in Florida to answer an extreme version of that age-old question.
We're getting an anonymous tip from a crime line in Orlando. The anonymous tip advised that he killed both of his parents last night at 5 p.m. He used the back of a hammer and that they can be found in bed at this location.
On July 16, 2011, in Port St. Lucie, Florida, a teenager placed a late-night tip to a local crime hotline. His friend, Tyler Hadley, had just thrown an epic party, and during the unruly bash, Hadley's parents, Blake and Mary Jo, lay dead in the bedroom. Hadley had murdered them just hours before. The media called it Tyler Hadley's killer party.
Wow. So the media called it Tyler Hadley's killer party, the shocking story of a troubled Florida teen, his wild house party, and 2 grisly murders. This is crazy. Crazy cases today we're talking about, y'all.
Tyler Hadley used a hammer to kill his parents, then throw a party.
He does face life in prison if convicted for murdering his parents.
Hadley was just 17 years old when he killed his parents and invited more than 60 classmates to drink, smoke, and party just a few feet from the bodies.
It's probably the biggest party.
Do you guys, can you imagine, like, in order to do it with a hammer, or whatever else he used, and look like some kind of clippers, like, you got to be up close and personal. That is a personal crime. That is you got to be real angry, real upset, real up close and personal. That's scary too.
Party I've been to this year.
Dude, I know you're not gonna believe me. No one will believe me. I freaking killed somebody. I went by his parents' room. I saw a splatter.
community was rocked. A family was torn apart. And a national conversation started about the dark reaches of the teenage brain. People on the internet are still talking about it years later.
Tyler Hadley.
Tyler Hadley.
Tyler Hadley.
A parade of mental health experts evaluated Tyler after the murders. But he was an enigma to them all, just as he had been to the numerous doctors and therapists that treated him throughout his childhood.
Not a single day goes by that I don't think about my parents or my whole family.
Hadley was convicted and sentenced.
It is hereby the judgment and sentence of the court that as to both counts 1 and 2, the defendant be sentenced to life.
13 years later, the question remains that his parents started asking when he was a small boy years before the murders. What's wrong with Tyler? The answer may lie in Florida, just north of the Gulf, where Tyler Hadley, now a 30-year-old man, says he's finally ready to talk for the first time about the crime and what he thinks drove his teenage brain to murder.
So this is going to have a mental health aspect to it. Evidently, from a very young age, something wasn't quite right with Tyler. So I do want to keep that in mind, you know, that there is mental health involved in this. Now, you know, a lot of people, actually, most of the population has mental health issues, but that doesn't mean we go out and unalive people. But I just, you know, want to keep that in mind.
Tyler, we're here today because we're trying to understand the mindset and motivations behind your actions. The adolescent mind, if you will, is notoriously unpredictable, especially for boys.
So they say.
Right? Unpredictable, impulsive. At 30, what does your 30-year-old brain think about your adolescent brain? What's he thinking? What's he doing?
All he was trying to do was con and manipulate. There was really no need for any of that. Being an adolescent, okay, yeah, I understand you're immature and all that, okay, but it's just, I can't even explain it.
Still a mystery to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even sit here and begin to explain that.
I mean, yeah, I think that, again, I think there's some kind of like schizophrenia or something going on here. He does still look evil AF, and he does look creepy in his eyes. He does.
Been many accounts of your childhood, but none from you yourself. So tell me, how would you describe your childhood?
It was what any kid would ever imagine would be an ideal childhood.
2 loving parents who both had careers.
There's his parents that he unalived. They look so sweet.
You had 1 sibling, right? An older brother. Sounds like you guys were close.
Yeah.
You had grandparents nearby, aunts, uncles, cousins. You had a lot more love in your life than many people start out with. But it looks like you had mental health struggles.
Yeah.
And I'm just pulling all of this out of the case record and the public record. One doctor noted hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness. Is that how you felt?
I did feel that way, yeah. I feel like I wasn't really going anywhere, you know?
Were you having that dialogue, the internal dialogue that I'm worthless, I hate myself?
I think it was embedded in my mind ever since I was a little kid with that.
Of your own?
I mean, but I'm not going to lie. You know, when I was a teenager, I had the same feelings. I was helpless. I was worthless. I wasn't beautiful. I had issues. God knows I had issues, but I never felt this way. But again, you know, I'm not like, I want to know what his diagnosis is. I want to know his mental health diagnosis.
Creation. Like nobody put it on you.
None. And I don't even know where that came from. That started when I was like 3rd grade, 2nd grade.
throughout your childhood. I counted 3 psychiatrists, all trying to figure out what's wrong with Tyler.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was normal to me.
Was it hard on you to go through diagnosis after diagnosis?
No, I just didn't know what to do when I sat in front of those psychiatrists and all that. I never had any effective treatment as far as that, me talking to them. Though that was on my part too. I didn't what do you say?
Engage.
I didn't engage at all.
Depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, social phobia, disruptive disorder, conduct disorder, bulimia, hypothyroidism, acne. I imagine for a young child, it could have been very confusing.
I didn't really think about it because I never heard those terms. That they never spoke those terms to me from when I.
Sarah said, I believe that is what separates people, letting a fantasy turn into actions. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Lindsay said, dang, so his parents tried to get him help even at a young age. Yep.
When I was 9, I didn't know what to do. And they just gave me medication.
Can you even remember all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I remember that. I remember all of them. Lexapro was first psychotropic antidepressant I was ever on. Oh, and Adderall.
Yeah, if I can find this person and talk to her and I can try to pull the information on this case, I would love to go over this case with her because this would be a good case to talk about with the psychiatrist. Sarah said, yes, his parents did what they were supposed to do as far as trying to help him. Annabella said hypothyroidism slows people down, weight gain, hair loss. Okay.
Was the first one. Those first 2 were the same with that simultaneously.
Right. You were on SSRIs.
Yep.
You were on thyroid replacement therapy, growth hormones, Zoloft, Celexa, Visatril. That's a lot.
Visatril, yeah.
That's a lot of drugs.
Celexa and Visatril were at the same time. Zoloft and Adderall, when I was 16 again, they put me on Adderall again.
Any of that help you in any way?
No.
Did it make things worse in some way?
I don't know if it made it worse, but it
wasn't working. When Tyler Hadley hit his late teen years, his parents had no clue just how dangerous he had become, or what the troubled 17-year-old would do next. I see 7 references to statements you made to friends about killing your parents. If you kill my mom, I'll give you my Lincoln. Yeah. They thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too until I just started thinking.
Okay, this is one of the last pictures that we have of Blake and Tyler together. Probably 4 days after this picture was taken, Blake and Mary Jo were gone.
Michael Hadley is Tyler Hadley's uncle and part of a close extended family blindsided when his 17-year-old nephew bludgeoned his brother and sister-in-law to death in 2011.
So this was 2011 and he's just now talking in 2023 or 2024. I apologize. My throat's killing me. Sarah, thank you for dropping links in Discord. Yeah, thyroid replacement therapy. That's what I'm picking up on. I'm wondering if all of those psychotropic medications he was taking for that made him do this. Zoloft, yeah. It does sound weird. I've been on Zoloft and Prozac. There was a big thing about Prozac actually making symptoms worse, especially for teens and young adults. Like I think they won't even prescribe it to teens now. They're not supposed to, from what I understand.
I miss those days. They were like a model family. Tyler was just, he was like his dad was when his dad was young. He was just a little clown, always goofing around. But as he grew older, he started to change a little bit. Once he got up to the age of high school, you know, it's like some of these kids, they start hanging around with the wrong crowd, and next thing you know, he's getting in a little bit of trouble.
Abellis, Basil did just, he got up and wanted to go out to get some of his food and water, and I did go grab some ice cream to try to make it feel better. Thank you.
As Tyler turned into a teenager, his mood darkened and his parents despaired. In high school, socially, you gravitated to the proverbial
Did y'all see his face? It looked so evil.
wrong crowd.
I think that they gravitated towards me.
How so?
Because everybody says I went to the wrong crowd, but I think I was the wrong crowd.
Oh, you were the wrong crowd. Your parents, he said, we caught him drinking, smoking, stealing, you were lying.
Yeah, I was doing all that.
Sneaking out. Can't trust him, they said. Taking their debit cards, finding drug paraphernalia. He won't tell us anything, they said. He denies everything.
Yeah.
We don't know his friends. He's losing weight.
Yep. Well, the weight was from the Adderall.
He said, we caught him throwing up, but he denies it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something about wanting to die.
Yes. That's all true. All that is true.
Your parents clearly picked up on it, right? They were trying everything they could to get you help.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk to them?
I could have.
You could have, but young Tyler.
Yeah, he didn't.
Didn't?
No.
How would you describe your parents?
So he seems very understanding of his issues and kind of what he did wrong now, which is good. Sarah said, psychopaths and sociopaths have a few differences, but they are similar. They aren't in the DSM-5 as diagnoses either. The diagnosis that covers these is antisocial personality disorder. Oh, wow. Thank you for that, Sarah.
Saints.
Saints?
Yeah.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because they were. There ain't no other word for them.
Always there for you?
Yeah. Even when I was acting a fool.
Okay.
Acting out, being an idiot. Yeah. At the time, I didn't appreciate it.
And no one appreciated just how deranged Tyler Hadley had become.
Just before he committed his attack, Blake gets a phone call from his boss. You're getting a raise, and you're no longer going to be on nights. You're going to have a standard shift of daytime only. And oh, he was so happy. You know what he told me? He says, Mike, now I get more time to spend with Tai. That's what he called Tyler. I get more time to spend with him. He was so excited about that. And Tyler, he loved his mother. Even as a teenager, he'd sit on her lap, and laugh with her and cut up with her. It's just inconceivable to try to even understand what can go wrong, with a human mind.
It sounded like things went from bad to worse and put a real strain on your relationship with your parents. They took you to 2 different mental health substance abuse programs in the spring.
Like he said, his parents do seem like saints. They knew he had a mental issue, and they just tried to be there for him to support him. And this mental issue just caused him to snap. I mean, what it reminds me of is schizophrenia, an aspect of it. But, I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or anybody to be diagnosing anybody, but that's what this reminds me of from listening to it.
Before the murders, it sounds like things were out of control. Were you afraid that they were going to institutionalize you?
Oh, I knew they were.
You knew they were?
Yeah, it was in my mind. I think I wanted them to.
Huh. And yet you resisted it. Why wouldn't you want the help?
Because I wanted to keep on doing what I was doing.
Is it possible that your anger towards them for imposing, help on you, treatment on you, that became the kind of target of your rage?
I think so.
The Hadley.
I mean, again, just like a normal teenager, when we're teenagers, we get in arguments with our parents because we want to continue doing what we want to do. We think we know everything. We have all the answers. We think we're smarter than them, and they try to get us help or something like that. And we're like, no, we want to continue doing what we're doing, going down this horrible path, and they're just trying to help. Normal teenage stuff as far as that aspect goes.
Hadleys would punish Tyler for his destructive behavior, frequently grounding him and taking away his phone. At one point, they proposed checking him into a mental hospital for inpatient treatment, while he lashed out with violent threats disguised as sick humor. I see 7 references to statements you made to friends about killing your parents. They were brutal statements.
Yeah, it was.
He would say things like, if you kill my mom, I'll give you my Lincoln.
Yeah. I said that on a Facebook chat.
She took your phone away once. You said, I might kill her.
That was a year before.
Who talks like that, even to your friends, even joking?
I mean, what kind of kid doesn't call their mom? I mean, with their friends, like, oh, my mom grounded me, you know, I said she took my phone. Or I mean, I didn't.
Hadley says the idea to kill his parents started as dark banter with his friends and then took root in his mind. They thought it was...
I mean, I've heard teenagers say stuff like that too. I didn't ever resort to that. I always said I would run away, and I did. But, I mean, again, for the most part, normal teenage stuff. Sarah said, I wonder if he ever had a head injury to his frontal lobe. That is a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
It was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too until I just started thinking.
Do you remember the first time you had that thought?
Sitting at my friend Marky's house, drinking a bunch of beer and smoking weed. And yeah, that's the first time I ever had it. That was when I first started having the thing about the joke. That was when we first started joking about it. And then privately, I would sit there and think about it.
Is it possible that it became the sort of symbol of all that was wrong in your life, in your mind?
Yeah, I think I latched onto it and just didn't let go of it.
Hadley was no longer joking. July 15th, you're out for a family dinner. Sounds like it went well. You make a point of telling your grandma and your grandpa you love them before you leave that night. And that night, you stood over your parents with the garden shears.
Yeah.
Right? What's in your mind then?
The same thing that was in my mind the rest of the month. Just get it out of my head, and if I relieve myself of it, then it'll be done.
Get rid of them. And with them, the pressure?
I was just losing it. I couldn't get out of my head. I couldn't stop.
That night, Hadley did stop.
So, I mean, again, he had thought about doing it before, it sounds like for a long time, and was able to stop himself. I wonder why he wasn't able to stop himself the night that happened. My lovely Abella said, I had schizophrenic patients in a group home I worked in. One was 300-pound tall woman who hit one of my colleagues, but for the most part, they were too sick to be dangerous to anyone but themselves. Yeah. Kara said, I've never heard of thyroid replacement. I wasn't aware that was something that could be replaced. I didn't know it could be replaced either. Yeah, his face.
Stop himself, but not for long. Did you change your mind or just the plan?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the thoughts didn't go away.
It was that night that you told your friend your parents might be going out of town. Is that the moment that the plan took shape?
I believe so.
This was 2 days before.
I think it was in the back of my mind.
Tell me what happened that day, July 16th. The planning started early in the day, right?
Hey, bad girl, welcome back.
Can you walk me through? After a troubled childhood, teenager Tyler Hadley spent almost a year joking with his friends about killing his parents. On July 16, 2011, he finally did it. Tell me what happened that day, July 16th.
Woke up around 9:30, maybe 9:10.
Did you know this would be the day?
No.
Pretty early on in the day, you're communicating with your friends. You put the word out about the party. What's in your mind?
Party at my crib, and then he said party at my house again, hit me up. Bellis is telling us that they're talking about medication, not actually replacing the thyroid gland. So thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, Sarah said probably med therapy. Thank you, because I was like, how do you replace a thyroid gland? Thank you for that.
And then?
I couldn't stop thinking about it. 'Cause I was losing my mind. I couldn't get out of my head. I could not rest until I just get those thoughts out of my head.
And the only way to get them out was to do it.
Yeah.
Tyler Hadley held an oversized claw hammer and approached his mother from behind as she sat at a desk.
Bad Girl said, I know he's evil, but at least he's honest and not downplaying his brutal crimes. These poor parents. Yeah, I think I see that in him as well. Like, he seems like with the right medication, he could be rehabilitated. But, I mean, if he stopped taking his medication, Lord only knows who could be in trouble. Yeah, his hormones were off. Trixie said, I'm 11 minutes behind. Hypothyroidism can lead to other medical conditions. I'm confused about it being spoken about in this. Yeah, I was confused about that as well. But evidently he had it, so that's why they put him on all those psychotropic medications. And I wonder if that's what made him do this. I don't know. Yeah, Lindsay said it's telling me his hormones were off from jump. Yeah. That other girl tried to downplay everything. Yep, absolutely did. All right. I'm going to play this. Oh, excuse me.
July 16th, you, by your own account, you stood behind your mother for 5 minutes. That's what you told somebody.
I did tell them, but I think it was more 20 seconds.
Felt like 5 minutes.
Might have felt like 5 minutes.
With the hammer.
Yeah.
And you struck her from behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She asked you why. You remember that?
Yeah.
Did she face you at that point?
I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if she was facing me or if she looked back or what.
Do you remember her asking you why, Tyler?
Yeah.
You kept swinging.
Yeah.
She's screaming.
Yep.
You remember blood everywhere?
Yep.
Do you remember what adolescent Tyler was thinking at that moment?
No.
Is he just in the red zone?
Yeah. I felt my face contracting this way in a maniacal rage. I can't even contort my muscles like that and just attempt it. I can't even sit here and try to do that. But I felt my mouth this way.
So
again, that's telling me another sign of schizophrenia. Oh my God, the sentence, what he's about to say. So your mom took 3,637 blows. Good God.
Your mom took 37 blows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
What else do you...
Well, I misread that. 36 or 37 blows. He does have a very creepy effect. He does. Poor mom. Oh my God, she was conscious. Yeah. Annabella said his mom saw the hideous mask. Yep.
Do you remember?
I remember my dad running out.
In the commotion, your dad came out?
Yeah.
You described a stare down.
Maybe for a couple seconds. Maybe a second. And I must have ran really fast because I got right to him.
What's in your mind at that point?
The same thing that was already in my mind. Do it.
Do it?
Yeah.
You hit him. He also asked, why are you doing this?
Trixie said, but he has the MTHFR genetic gene that was triggered that can cause psychotic break. I haven't researched a lot into that. I've just heard somebody talk about it. I need to look into that.
And I said, why not?
You said, why not?
And then I said, why not? And I just kept going.
Kept swinging.
Yep.
Is he defending himself?
I'm going to back that up a little bit. He said his dad asked him why he was doing this, and he stated, why not? I apologize for pausing it through that. So let me just let it play.
Stare down.
Maybe for a couple seconds.
Couple seconds.
Maybe a second. And I must have ran really fast because I got right to him.
What's in your mind at that point?
The same thing that was already in my mind, do it.
Do it?
Yeah.
You hit him. He also asked, why are you doing this?
And I said, why not?
You said, why not?
And then I said, why not? And I just kept going.
Kept swinging.
Yep.
Is he defending himself? Is he resisting?
Yeah.
Forensics suggests that they were alive through.
Did you see the way he looked to the side and he's like remembering it and like thinking about it? I mean, it's almost evil. I need Basil too. He's in there getting some water and some food right now. His dad was a big man. Okay. Thank you so much, bad girl. I appreciate that. Trixie said it can cause schizophrenia, bipolar, and hallucinations and more. It does look like that Lindsay when I see it typed. And then Sarah said, I feel like he disassociated during this. When people claim they don't remember, I never believed it until I met my boyfriend. When he disassociates, he says it's like a dream state and his memory is foggy. Yeah, it definitely seems like he disassociated for sure.
Through most of the attack.
Yeah.
One point in the record, you said that they did not resist, and that's when you realized how much they loved you. Because they didn't even defend themselves. You remember that?
I don't recall saying that verbatim, but I remember somebody saying that I said that.
Okay. Do you remember them screaming for their lives?
Yeah.
None of that could snap you out of it?
It's blurry as time goes on, but yeah. But sitting here talking about it makes me recollect it, yes.
You described it as a blind rage coming out.
Yeah.
You said, I was covered in blood, I was detached. I went into this sort of psychotic state or trance.
Yep. Yeah.
I had some sense of finality that it was over. All that compulsive thinking was just gone.
Sounds about right. And then I looked in the mirror and I laughed.
Tell me about that.
I went in my bathroom mirror and I was covered in blood. Everywhere, my whole, everything. There was blood all over the place. And I laughed at myself in the mirror.
Why?
I don't know.
Disassociated to the point that it's almost demonic. Bad Girl said he's brutally honest and it's chilling. Yeah. Trixie said they do not test for the MTHFR unless there is a history of unaliving or wanting to unalive themselves or depression. Wow.
It's hard to imagine you thought it was funny.
I don't think it was a funny laugh. No. It's more of a deranged laugh, more of a, I guess that is a little bit, well, I guess it's a little bit deranged, yeah.
And what's your state of mind in the immediate aftermath? It sounds like almost like there's a sense of relief that it's over.
Relief, but mechanical.
What do you mean?
Robotic. Just, I went, cleaned it, you know.
That must have taken hours.
I don't know how long it took. It had to take at least 2 hours. I threw everything inside the house and everything I piled up in that one room.
Why?
I don't know. I was just ashamed. I couldn't look at anything. I couldn't bear to look at it.
You felt shame at that point?
I felt a little shame, yeah. In the back of my mind, yes. It was starting to come. I mean, yeah, of course I felt shame, but I was keeping it down.
I see.
And I was terrified. I was petrified. I felt a petrifying angst, dread within the pit of my stomach, knowing that what lurks beyond that door.
Okay.
What you did.
Yeah. And I just suppressed it. And I threw everything in there. And I went about my business of just having a party.
That's interesting. I mean, I wonder what that room symbolizes for him, why he threw everything in that room. I mean, if it really was just because he didn't want to see it or if it symbolized something to him. Thank you, Sarah, for being here and for all your input. Sarah's going to school for, I think, forensic psychology. So she's got all the deets on this kind of stuff. I don't love these crimes, okay, but like I love to sit here and talk about these things with you guys because I always find myself asking these questions, and it's good. I love to be able to ask you guys these questions and bring these thoughts that I have up to you guys and see what you say, and people who watch on replay to see your comments in the comment section. I love that, and I appreciate you guys, and I really want you to know that I appreciate you all so much, and I really enjoy our time together every day.
When Tyler Hadley was 17 years old, he inexplicably murdered his parents with a hammer. And then he threw a party. I think it's hard for people to understand the level of forethought and planning, what in legal terms, yes, is considered premeditation, but also the celebration. The fact that you partied that night. Can you account for that?
No.
What do you think young Tyler was thinking?
I think he wanted one last blowout.
Yep.
Before he ends it.
Before he ends his own life.
Yep.
Was suicide part of the plan?
Yeah.
It was.
I was in the back of the car up in the garage and killed myself by carbon monoxide poisoning.
With his parents' blood still on his hands, Hadley texted friends announcing that his parents were out of town and the party was at his house.
He said, damn, I'm looking to, but yo, I'm having a party tonight. Damn, I'm looking to, but yo, I'm having a party at my crib. Probably asking somebody for some weed or something.
I mean, I remember talking to somebody calling me, right? I was telling them directions and I'm covered in blood. And I'm just like, yeah, come on, it's gonna, I'm just sounding normal. And
nothing could snap you out of...
It was already over with.
See, that's mental illness. That is a psychotic break. He's talking about he's covered in blood and he's talking to people just normal. Like, yeah, come on over. I'm having a party, doing this while he's covered in his parents' blood. Yeah, that's a psychotic break. That's not, that's a mental thing, in my opinion.
What did you think was going to happen next?
I had no thought that I would get arrested.
Really?
Not at all.
Once word got out that there was a house without supervision, teenagers from all over Port St. Lucie flocked to his place.
Bad Girl said disassociation makes it go away as if it didn't happen, right? Sarah said abnormal psych is my forte. Yeah, Sarah's always got the deets on this kind of stuff.
Hadley drank, smoked, and took selfies while the dead bodies of Blake and Mary Jo were just a few feet away.
During the party and after the party, there was rumor that perhaps that Tyler may have killed his parents.
You could barely walk through the house. There were so many people.
How long have you known Tyler?
I want to say about 2 years.
Tyler came and sat down. He just looked so lost and had this blank stare on his face.
Like, dude, I know you're not going to believe me. No one will believe me. I freaking killed somebody.
I was like, why do you have to go? And he was like, Tyler's parents are dead. And I was like, stop playing with me right now. And he was just like, no, I'm not playing, sorry.
Some complained of an odd smell. Some saw blood in the house. One saw much worse.
He opens the back door just a little bit. He's like, do you see that? And there's a leg. I'm freaking out.
The scene painted a dark portrait of the teenagers in this small Florida town.
And he said to me, wouldn't it be cool if I killed my parents and had a party? And everybody thought the kid was just playing.
Over the course of the night, Tyler bluntly confessed to his friend what he had done.
After he told me, I didn't believe him because he's been my best friend forever. I would never suspect anything like this. And I was looking around. He told me if I look at enough, I can see signs. I looked on the floor, I could see signs of blood. And that's when
This is his best friend. Lindsay said, yeah, that manner of unaliving tells me that it's likely his parents didn't have weapons in the house on purpose. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing after you said that. That's a good point. Bad Girl said, I couldn't imagine going to a party and not knowing two dead bodies are in the other room, right? Yeah, no doubt. Lindsay brought up another good point. I was going to say, with a house party like that, good luck keeping people out of rooms, right? Because when you have a house party, they're going in all the rooms.
I went around back and looked in his parents' bedroom.
Hours later, that boy and another friend called the police.
I had no thought that Michael would report me. Nothing.
His best
That
friend.
wasn't even a part of my mind. I wasn't even thinking about it.
A few hours after that, on July 17, 2011, Tyler Hadley was arrested.
Your name is Tyler? Okay. You had a party last night. I'm going to read you your Miranda rights. Are you familiar with those? The first one is you have the right to remain silent.
So at this point, the police have gone in that house, more than likely, because I'm assuming they picked him up at the house. They've seen what's in the house. And what they're saying is, you had a party. Like, in order to see that, I wonder if they already know that his mental state is not all there. You know what I mean?
I get this phone call. I answer my phone, and it's my dad. The only words he said was, Mike, Blake, and Mary Jo are dead. And I just almost dropped to my knees. I said, oh my God. My daughter's husband was able to drive us to Stewart, to mom and dad's, where everybody was meeting with the detectives and the police and all that. That's when we found out what had happened. What kind of a human being can do that? I don't. I'm sorry. Who can do that to their mother? I can't understand it. I just can't. Even today, 13 years later, it still upsets me.
I mean, and I understand their pain, and I'm so sorry they're dealing with that. I really, again, I don't think he would have done it if he was in the right frame of mind.
Excuse me. The next day, I went over there. The yard was completely trashed with whiskey bottles, beer bottles. They just trashed the heck out of it. I've thought about it a million times. What would I say to that boy? Why? Why in the world? You loved your parents.
Hey, Rubber Ramada. Oh, okay. Rubber Ramada fell asleep. A lot of people say they fall asleep listening to my voice. I think that's really sweet. I think Zaya might have fell asleep too. She was here earlier.
Was it worth it? Was it worth destroying your parents? Punishing them? Torturing them? Butchering them up? Was that fun? Teenagers, young 16, 17-year-old children do some horrific things.
I was the first expert to evaluate Tyler, and that would have been about 5 months after the killing.
Dr. Kathleen Heide is the country's leading expert on parricide, the murder of parents by their children. She was hired by Tyler Hadley's defense to make sense of his shocking crime.
I'm curious to see what he got and how the defense played this because of his mental status. Rubber, thank you for listening to me while you were asleep. I really appreciate that, love.
As I recall, he was still 17. And Tyler was very, very immature relative to other 17-year-olds. He was at a level of a younger child where you try to figure out how you get your needs met from big people, like adults. It's fine when you're 3, 5, 7, 10 years old. Not good when you're 17. For parents who are saying, could this be my son or daughter? What I think is important to know that what happened here with Tyler is a very, very, very rare event. But when mental health professionals get involved, that's the driving question. Why? Why would a kid from a good family with loving parents kill them?
That question would dominate the criminal case and decide Tyler Hadley's fate.
There's basically a debate whether Tyler is sick and treatable or irredeemably mad and or bad.
everything will be corrupted.
Which do you think you are?
Do y'all think that he is corrupted, or do you think that he's got some mental issues? What do you guys think? I would be interested to know. It says attorneys plan to use insanity defense. Hadley accused of unaliving parents and having a party. So I wonder if it worked, the insanity defense.
A legal controversy swirled around the case of 17-year-old Tyler Hadley. He was charged as an adult because of the depravity of his crime. But the question remained.
Right, because he was only 17. Pinto says both. Thank you, Pinto.
As to how he should be sentenced.
Right now, the sentencing hearing for Tyler Hadley is going on.
This was the result of a severely mentally ill child.
He is done. No jury in the world would buy the insanity defense in this case.
The state looking for the judge to issue the maximum penalty of 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
After his arrest, several mental health professionals examined Tyler for the court, prosecution, and the defense. Hadley's lawyer hired the country's leading expert on children who killed their parents, Dr. Kathleen Heidi.
Abella said yes. I think both. Bad Girl said, I do think he had mental issues, but I don't know how that would play into what he did. Okay. You're good, Rubber. If you go back and watch the replay, let me know in the comment section. Prozac was bad for teens back then, and there was a lot of really bad things that happened that aligned with kids taking Prozac.
The very first book I wrote was called Why Kids Kill Parents. And I would estimate that I've evaluated probably about 150 individuals who've committed murder. Most of them have been juveniles. I saw Tyler on 6 occasions over the course of about 2.5 years. Tyler's case is probably among a handful of cases that really stand out as so perplexing and complicated. But we have to know why people commit crimes to stop it.
In the weeks after the crime, it's believed Hadley embellished and lied during his sessions with Dr. Heidi and the other psychiatrists. It's known as malingering. There's a long record of you trying to manipulate the forensic doctors, right?
Yep.
You, for example, told doctors you were hearing, you heard voices, you saw apparitions.
Of course.
Right? Was that malingering?
Hell yes. Yeah, of course it is. And at the time, I mean, I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't know what else to do at the time. Right?
What was the point of it?
I mean, I was 17 years old. I was in a hole.
Bad Girl said it would make sense of his mental break with reality.
Loaded trouble. The only thing conceivable to me was, well, try to get an insanity defense and try to make it a little less hurtful on yourself.
It wasn't about atoning or remorse or any of that. Your mind goes to, how do I lessen the consequences?
I mean, I still felt remorse, though.
You did?
Of course I did. Not just for myself. I didn't just sit there and just be like, oh, I'm so, of course I felt bad for it. Of course I didn't.
But do you see that it's hard to see?
I think he felt bad for it and still does.
That past all the conniving.
Of course.
All the lies and the lingering.
What do I expect? I don't expect nothing less. I don't expect them to believe me anyways. They're not going to, no matter what I say.
With Tyler, the defendant at times did not tell the truth. But as a mental health professional or a forensic evaluator, you don't want to rely exclusively on what the defendant tells you.
Bad Girl said he is brutally honest. He doesn't pull punches, good and bad. Yeah, I think so too. I think he's brutally honest. And, it's best to be honest as much as you can. I'm brutally honest, and sometimes I share too much.
Because the defendant who's facing murder charges may lie to you. and has good reason to, from the standpoint that he or she is facing very serious consequences if convicted.
As part of her evaluation, Dr. Heidi interviewed Hadley's friends and family to come to a conclusion about his state of mind.
When the police cars are all pulled up after the homicides, and the neighbors, their thought was, oh my God, Tyler committed suicide. They didn't think that Tyler could have killed his parents. Tyler is a very disturbed individual with a history, unquestionably, of severe depression. And that's very important because he also has a history of obsessive thinking. The catathymic crisis could clearly apply in this case.
Catathymic crisis.
I'm interested to learn what that is. The history of severe depression and the fact that the neighbors thought that he did it to himself tells me a lot about his state of mind at that time period of his life as well.
Is a rare condition and was the leading theory in Hadley's case. Let me read you the definition. A change in thinking whereby the offender believes he can resolve inner conflict by committing an act of extreme violence against someone to whom he feels emotionally bonded.
Okay, and that's an actual definition?
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that sound like it rings true?
That's what it sounds like. Kind of hits it on the head. I mean, no point. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, yes.
I diagnosed him as having conduct disorder. Conduct disorder is a
That does sound exactly like what is going on here to a T. I think so too. I think that hits the nail on the head.
pattern, a persistent pattern of violating the rights of others, and it includes criminal acts. It can also involve staying out all night, truant. It can progress to APD, antisocial personality disorder. So we've got an immature adolescent who he doesn't fit in. He's got these deprecating thoughts. He's basically like tortured by himself. Doesn't talk to his parents. He doesn't talk to the counselors. He tells his friends. They think it's a joke. It's just all adding up. We're just piling on one thing on top of another.
There was a special hearing to decide the 17-year-old's fate. Dr. Heidi, as well as others, testified in court to help decide if Hadley's age or mental health issues should lessen his punishment. Michael Hadley attended every day.
I did not see Tyler prior to the sentencing hearing. That was rough because that's when we found out things that we did not know about. There was a lot of testimonies by his friends, the things that he would do, the crazy things. I mean, it went on and on. There were a lot of things that we were unaware of. But what really was the most shocking part to me was that he had committed previous crimes. We didn't know anything about that.
That's interesting. Jen says, thank you everybody for being here and interacting in the comments. Yes, I could not have said that better myself, and I really appreciate it. I love to see you guys, what you have to say and all of that. Bad Girl said, wow, that's so sad. This was their first, though, unalive himself. Yeah.
Michael called on the court to lock his nephew up forever.
You know, I had a reporter ask me one time, what would you do if he got out? Would you take him in and come live with you? I looked at him in the face and I said, would you want him to live with you?
The whole case turned on whether or not Tyler Hadley was capable of rehabilitation.
I'd like to direct this to my entire family. All I got to make amends for the horrible acts I've done.
There's basically a debate over your mental health, right? And the conviction and the sentence came down to whether Tyler is sick and treatable or irredeemably mad and or bad.
Irredeemably corrupted.
Which do you think you are?
I think I am treatable, but not worthy of the redemption of the opportunity. I mean, I'm treatable, but I don't think I deserve it. I don't deserve the
The opportunity, the chance?
No.
The second chance?
No.
Juveniles.
I mean, but how many people have you heard say that? I don't deserve a second chance. Like, that doesn't happen very often. Abella said, wait, could he get out? I'm waiting to see. It's possible. Yeah.
Can change. Most juveniles, with the exception of few, are able to change, are redeemable, can be rehabilitated. So the two constructs that to me are the most important are, does the offender take accountability for his behavior, and does the offender feel genuine remorse? And I saw indications over time in both of those. With respect to Tyler.
But in the case of Tyler Hadley, the judge disagreed and decided that Hadley should be sentenced as an adult to life in prison.
It is hereby the judgment and sentence of the court that as to both counts 1 and 2, the defendant be sentenced to life.
I do believe justice is served.
I wonder if he got with parole, though, with the possibility of parole. And I mean, at that point, the whole town was probably pissed off because it was known as the town where a child unalived their parents and then had a, quote, killer party. Yeah, you said none really to how many, when I asked how many people have you seen do that, say I don't deserve a second chance. I think he does. I think on the proper medication, he could be in society, but my issue would be what's going to happen if he stops taking that medication. Toxic said if he ever gets out, it will be court ordered for him to remain on medications and continue to see the therapist or psychologist. Yeah. I think that's about all you can do.
I don't think he's ever going to get out of prison because that's where he belongs. You can't let him out in society. As much as I hate to say it. I wake up almost every morning and I'll look outside and I think, golly, I can see my brother throwing that football out there in our big yard out there with me. You know, I mean,
you know what? Bad Girl said, I thought juveniles couldn't get life without parole. And I think that's true. I think they can get life, but it has to have the possibility of parole. I think you're right about that.
Everywhere we go, every time we do something, it reminds us of my brother and Mary Jo and the kids. You're constantly being reminded of it. So you never get rid of it, but you just learn how to deal with it.
After all those psychiatrists and forensic doctors that examine you, Tyler, why do you think you killed your parents in the end?
I can't, I don't know.
Still don't?
I can't. I think it was to stop all of our pain.
Lindsay said true, but he was charged as an adult. I think if you're a teenager, even if you are charged as an adult, you still can't get without the possibility of parole, but I'm not sure. Rubber, I just read the second part of your comment, and I'm so sorry to hear that, love. Please send him lots of hugs and kisses from us, and I will keep you guys in my prayer. Kara said, the thing is, though, if they're in prison from when they're a juvenile, how will they adapt to society once they're out? All they know is that prison life. Wow, that's a good point. That's a good point. Abella said, no, some people just shouldn't be out in society. It's not being mean or cruel. It's just a fact. Okay, I can definitely see your stance on that.
To stop your pain.
All of our pain.
Theirs and yours?
Yeah. And other than that, I can't even sit here and answer that with any clarity, with any reasonable guess. I can't. It's still not clear to me. There was that one thought that it just kept on going. And if I didn't have that thought, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now.
That one thought.
Yeah.
You're trapped in it.
Yeah.
Is it gone for good?
Yeah.
Have you had any other
No. Like other violent ideations?
Yeah.
No.
Never.
No.
Do you still hate yourself?
Yeah, I do. I really do. It's different though.
It's different.
Yeah.
How so?
Because all that was superficial when I was a kid, and now I actually have a reason to.
Now you have a reason to.
I really have a reason to now.
As a kid, you didn't have a reason to, but now you do.
Now I do. Yeah, I definitely do.
You take full responsibility?
I do. Yeah.
When you were young, your 3 wishes were 1, to get out of jail.
I think he takes responsibility. I'm going to back it up because he's talking about 3 wishes when you were young. Kara said Aiden Fauci got life without parole. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to talk to y'all about what my plan is after the live. Jenny said, I think depending on the crime, if you're closer to 18, then you are tried as an adult. Yeah. Yep. Lindsay said Carly Gregg got life without parole, but in Mississippi, she was tried as an adult, and their life means life. There is no parole. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. So you said, never mind. He'll get parole after 25 years. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Abella said that little bastard and his mom too. I don't know with the Carly Gregg case. I'm not sure.
I actually have a reason to.
Now you have a reason to.
I really have a reason to now.
As a kid, you didn't have a reason to, but now you do.
Now I do. Yeah, I definitely do.
You take full responsibility?
I do. Yeah.
When you were young, your 3 wishes were 1, to get out of jail, 2, have this whole thing go away and have your parents back, and 3, have a lot of money. In that order.
Yeah, that was 17-year-old Tyler saying that.
What are your 3 wishes now?
Got 1 wish.
You got 1 wish?
Got 1 wish.
What's that?
I wish I can go back in time and just not do all this harm.
No, nobody in this world loves you like your parents, all of us, right?
Right.
If you had killed anyone else, it would be your parents visiting you every week. And
of course.
You know that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But you got rid of those people.
Yep.
Do you miss them?
Yeah.
You do? You love them?
Yeah. But it doesn't wash away all that, you know, no matter what I do.
Thank you for your time.
Is it? All right.
Thank you. And with that, my time with Tyler Hadley was up. I was the latest in a long line of people who've tried to make sense of this extraordinary crime and the boy behind it. But I found a man just as mystified by his teenage self and how he let a thought that started as a joke annihilate his family. And that thought would remain with me for a long time.
Well, that was the end of the Tyler Hadley story. And I appreciate you guys being here. I wanted to tell you real quick. Yeah, we're talking about some other cases over here in the comment section. And with that recent copyright strike, I am working on a video. That's actually why my throat's kind of sore. But I have access to this wonderful Discord that's called As the Gavel Drops. And they have like all kinds of documents and things. And there's a lot of people in there that will go get information in my Discord and they'll bring it to me about cases and stuff, like the case we're going to cover tomorrow. I done forgot her name again, but you'll see it on the thumbnail I make later tonight. So what I think I'm going to start doing is just trying to pull these documents and pick a case and get as much information as I can on it. And then we'll just look at the pictures and the documents I pull up and go over the case to the best of our ability. And just try to start using my own stuff because that copyright strike really, really upset me. And you know, I want us to be able to continue to have stuff to talk about. And there's so many cases out here. There's so much information I can pull and put together in short little videos or whatever for us to discuss. There's so many cases that have already been tried and went to court that would be relatively easy, I do believe, to get information on. I do want to let y'all know. Well, actually, we'll wait because I might be able to get documents and we could talk about it tomorrow. So, yeah, that was creepy, you guys. Toxic Orchid said people need to vilify others as well, especially when it comes to some of the crimes that kids do. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. I mean, I can't express enough how much I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm gonna drop the Alex Ericson's link to her channel because that's where I got the letter from Leilani to the news station. So that will be in the description box, as well as Court TV's link because that's where I got these videos. And then I'll drop the Discord for As the Gavel Drops. If you guys are looking on for any information, they've got it. And then I'll drop our Discord if anybody wants to come over and hang out with us over there. I don't know, Jenny. Oh, all right. And Toxic Orchid said, As the Gavel Drops is happy to share documents, etc., but please be kind and give credit when using the information. Yes, please be kind and give credit when you guys use the information. And that's my only request as well. I don't mind if you use any of my videos or any of my information. Just please make sure to say where you got it. And I try to do the same. With that, I'm going to go and drink some tea, and I hope y'all have the best day ever. And I really want to thank you again for being here. If you are watching the replay, please hit the thumbs up if you don't mind so we can get out into the algorithm for more people. And I do have memberships if anybody's interested. I always drop pictures of things I'm doing and just random stuff in the membership. So if you guys are interested in me on a more personal level, you can join memberships. There's a video of Basil when he was a baby and things like that. With that, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1:30. Bye.